Hello there, I'm Big Alias. Excuse the cough. I used to be alright. What happened? That was a very neat and tidy Radiohead reference. I enjoyed that a lot. And yes, today we're going to be talking about Radiohead. I'm a huge music nerd, okay? I am a massive just call me Fantano. Don't do that. I really don't want you to do that. But I am a huge music nerd, and to all of the music nerds out there, then you obviously know that I'm a Radiohead fan. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand. Now, not every music nerd is a Radiohead fan, but I'm pretty sure every Radiohead fan is a self-described music nerd. I mean, let's be honest. We're kind of pompous and pretentious. So, clearly I was very excited for the Smile album. I've made myself cough. The new Smile album, which, I mean, is essentially Radiohead. It's, Tom York and Johnny Greenwood, so it's the lion's share of Radiohead. So we're going to refer to this album as a Radiohead album because it basically is. And man, is it good. I really, really like this album, actually. I think it's their best project since A Moonshaped Pool, which I absolutely adored. I know it was a bit of a controversial one because it was so laid back and, not so screechy on the guitars and stuff like that. But I thought A Moonshaped Pool was a masterpiece. And the fact that people... I've been reading reviews on albumoftheyear.org, and there are reviews saying Radiohead just need to get back together and, make a new album, make a new Radiohead album, they need to do it. It's like, firstly, do you not... This is a Radiohead album. I mean, it really is. And secondly, and most importantly, do you really not think that A Moonshaped Pool was the last Radiohead project? I mean, it ended with True Love Waits, finally releasing a studio version of True Love Waits, and ending the album with it is just such a perfect bookend for Radiohead as a band. I really don't think they're gonna, make a new album, particularly as they then splintered off and they were like, okay, this is our new reinvention. And don't forget, it's not, out of the ordinary for Radiohead to reinvent themselves. So yes, I do think that Moonshaped Pool was the last album. What a beautiful way to end a career. It's an absolute masterpiece, and this is my favourite project since then. I mean, Bending Hectic is, let's be real, it's a top 5 Radiohead song. It's absolutely tremendous, and if you want to get into this Smile album, maybe even start at Bending Hectic because it's that good. It's an absolutely tremendous powerhouse of a song. So overall, I really like Wall of Eyes. It's a very, very good album, and I prefer it to their previous album, actually. So it's really got me into the Smile. Radiohead are an interesting band for me because they are very, very good, and they have made some of the most important music I've ever heard. I still think How to Disappear Completely, though it's not my favourite song ever made, might possibly be the greatest song ever written. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's one of the 3 songs that I've ever shed a tear to. In the Backseat, How to Disappear Completely, and one of the songs from Mr. Morale, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one towards the end where he's talking about, some very deep subject matter, let's just say that. It's very rare for something like that to happen, but it's such a beautiful song. And Kid A, I think if you know Radiohead, then I think you can tell a lot about a person based off of their favourite Radiohead album. And for me, it's Kid A, followed by In Rainbows, followed by Moonshaped Pool. Those are my top 3. I know, OK Computer isn't in there, but I don't know, whenever I come back to the band, it's one of those 3 because they're just stunning albums. But they're an interesting band to me because they came at a time where I was experiencing a lot of emotional turmoil and sort of trying to figure myself out and feeling sort of very dejected. And this, obviously, Radiohead sort of came forth with just a tremendous force of confirmation bias about a crooked, corrupt, depressing, bordering on dystopian world, surrounding me, and that confirmation bias was really just exacerbating the feelings that I was already having, and created this very sort of malleable world where I was making it bad, and I was connecting what I was listening to my feelings, and created this orb and sphere of depression and dark thoughts and issues, and just absolute desperation for a happier and brighter world. and all of this, all of these feelings that I was experiencing at the time. And so it's this kind of like nasty feeling where I want to go back to and listen to the music. I want to listen to this important music that they were making, and sort of appreciate it and be like, wow, they did this, they made Kid A, and the story of Kid A, I think I've already said it on this channel before, so maybe I'll just give like the quickest Cliff Notes version of it, but it's about the band reborn, being reborn and rebirthing themselves into a world where they're constructed like as though they're the IKEA furniture, being made from instruction manual. But they made this album, and quite possibly the greatest concept album of all time, Kid A. And it's all about rebirth and imploding and reinventing yourself and all of this, and hiding due to the absolute overwhelming feeling of anxiety that you have that causes this cascading feeling of solitude that you surround yourself in. How to Dissipate Completely, of course. And all of these feelings, they're so relatable, and they become relatable, and I can't help but think about them, and they give me this like, you're not alone sense. Like, you were not the only person experiencing this. Tom York felt it, and I'm sure Johnny Greenwood did too. All of these, the band, they felt it too, and they're there too, and they can put their hand on your shoulder and say, we did this as well, and we felt this way as well, and that's beautiful. But the link I have to the band is of such a dark time that it's overwhelming, and it does become overbearing. I can only ever listen to Kid A one time through, and even then I still get very emotional when I listen to How to Dissipate Completely. When the strings come in, it's painful. Or A Moon-Shaped Pool, and the Daydreaming, which is about Tom York and his sort of path through wasted years and wasted youth, and having that all torn away from him from broken marriages and what have you. And just all of that just becomes so overwhelming. They're obviously a band that you have to approach it in a very bite-sized way. And though I will recommend their music, I can never recommend it to my friends who I think are going through something. I'm not one of those people who's like, you're going through something, you'll relate to this. You're going through something stiff, as clear from Radiohead as you possibly can. Please do that, because it's not going to help you. It's just going to make things worse. But they are a beautiful band, and they've made some of the most magical music that I've ever heard in my entire life. It's just a shame that they're so fucking depressing. But anyway, yeah, I guess I just rambled on about Radiohead just now, but I guess I'll see everyone later.
The PlayStation is only $149, and you can also get leading titles.